Today we're checking out another projector, this time the GV31 by BenQ. I want to thank them for sending this over to review on the channel. Normal price for this one is $549, but chances are it's going to be on sale by the time you see this video. So I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. One thing that's a little different about this one, it can actually run on battery power for up to 180 minutes. Some of the specs on this one: 300 ANSI lumens, native 1080p resolution, 100,000 to 1 contrast ratio, LED light source, 24-bit display color. It's got two 4-watt speakers plus an 8-watt subwoofer. The software is on Android 11. It's got Bluetooth 5.0, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It's powered by Android TV. It's got Netflix, YouTube, and it's got AirPlay and Chromecast built in, so you're not gonna need extra streaming devices. It's also going to work with the Google Assistant. Nice thing is it has autofocus and auto Keystone adjustment, and it's going to work best on a screen up to 100 inches. It's going to be pretty simple, but you do have a quick start guide here. Pretty nice little base. Also has some silicone feet underneath. It looks like you've got to put a couple things together here before you get started. You've got your power cable. You've also got your QS02 Android TV streaming device. You also get a quick start guide with that. Looks like it's powered by micro USB, and it's got an HDMI port on the other end. Nice thing is you've got batteries included for the remote control. The remote control definitely looks like a Google TV remote control. You've got most of the controls you would want on the remote: autofocus, auto Keystone, source, menu, Google Assistant, directional arrows, OK button, home, settings, back button, volume controls, play and pause, forwards and backwards. Then you've got EQ, Bluetooth settings, looks like picture settings. Definitely feels a little bit bigger than some of the other projectors we've looked at, which is nice, a little easier to keep track of. You can tell just by looking at this, it's definitely a little more unique than most of the other projectors I've tested. You've got 4 controls on the top: volume up and down, source. You also have a mount on the bottom if you want to put this on a tripod or a ceiling. All of your connections are on the one side. You've got USB, 1 HDMI, 1 USB-C, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and where you plug in the power. Cool thing about the base, it's got little metal pieces here that kind of lock it into place. So it actually stays on there really nice. Plus you can still angle it up and down as well. You've also got a little leather strap here on the top, which you could use to carry this around. This definitely feels like a step up in build quality to some of the others I've tested. Here towards the back, you've got 2 slots where the cover just slides right off. You can see your speakers right there as well. It's a pretty simple process. You just plug in the HDMI side first and then the micro USB. It also has a little black pad here that you can stick right over the top. Then the cover just snaps right on and you slide it over. Personally, if I was BenQ, I would already have this installed, mainly because I could see some people struggle with this if you're not familiar with this. Now, once you get the projector hooked up, nice thing is you can set up the Android TV software manually or use your phone to make things quite a bit faster. Through this process, it's also going to connect to your Wi-Fi, and you have the option to install a couple extra apps from BenQ, and then of course, any other app you might want to use from the Play Store. I wasn't sure what to expect since this is the first projector I've tested by BenQ, but it's going to be very similar to other projectors I've tested that also use Android TV or Google TV. I also did a comparison of this and the Yaeber Ace K1 projector, and the main thing I noticed was the color on this one is a little more accurate and just has a more natural look to it, where Yaeber seemed more saturated with a more orange tint to most things. But the picture quality on here is really nice. It's got good contrast. You'll want to make sure you turn up the brightness though in the settings to 100, because mine was only at 50. I'm guessing to improve the battery life if you're not using the power cable. You've got several things you can adjust in the projector menu settings, like brightness, picture mode, sound mode, picture, sound, focus, installation, power mode, and system. It's also nice you have the option to do focus and keystone adjustment manually or let it automatically adjust by itself. It even has a toggle that you can turn off for the remote control power on to save battery as well. Just watching YouTube videos, Netflix shows, everything looks really nice on here. I feel like the brightness could be a tad bit more. I feel like it could have a little bit darker blacks or a little better contrast, but the nice thing is you can see really good detail in some of the darker areas, and the speakers on here sound pretty good as well. They've got nice bass. Just the overall sound quality seems like it's a little better than a lot of the others I've tested. I think it could be a little bit louder overall though. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. You can also use this projector for presentations as the text is nice and sharp. Not to mention, this is one of the easiest projectors to move around since it has battery power. But one advantage I feel this projector has over most of the other budget ones I've tested is when it comes to gaming. Mobile games like Asphalt 9 plays pretty smooth without much lag or delay when using a Bluetooth controller. Same thing with retro games like Punch-Out. Everything's nice and smooth and the display looks really nice. But really the biggest surprise was when I was playing Rocket League. Not only did it play smoother versus the Gamer projector, it's got less lag, and it was easy to notice the difference in lighting where you could see better details in some of the shadow areas with BenQ. Obviously it's going to depend on what games you're playing, but so far this seems to be one of the better projectors for faster paced games. This might even be my top pick if you're looking for a projector for your game room. But overall the GV31 has really good build quality and has almost every feature you would need from a projector. It also has better than average sound quality. It's got really nice details and clarity in almost everything I tested. So some of this may come down to personal preference, but overall this might just be right at the top of my list for best 1080p projectors that I've tested so far.